Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing good today. Today we are going to be discussing the shoulder princess dart bustier. We are going to be contouring the bust, and in order to get that shape of the bust, what we are going to do is to introduce the under bust measurement. The last class was the armhole princess dart bustier. So the line went to the armhole just like this, and in order to get a perfect fitting, because we are trying to make the bodice as fitted as possible, we also have to take away some gaping. Apart from contouring the under bust, there are also some little excesses that if you're doing a bustier, you have to take note that there will be some gaping, and those gaping you have to take them away. So today, as I'll be teaching you the shoulder princess dart, I'll also be teaching you how to take away the gaping on the bodice. Okay, also guys, one other thing that I said in the last class was that there are two ways of contouring the under bust. So if this is something that you like to see, please let's get to it. This is the measurement we've been using from the beginning of the series, so we'll be using this measurement today. And I've already drawn out my pattern. I'll put the link in the description box. If you don't know how to do this, please check it out. So I'm going to zoom in a little so that we can concentrate on the front for now. The first thing that I'm going to do on this pattern is to introduce the under bust line. The under bust line is the distance from your shoulder to your under bust. My shoulder to under bust is 12. So I'll mark 12 right from the shoulder, okay, from this baseline, and then I'll square it out. So this is my under bust line, this is my waist line, this is my chest line, right? And this is my bust line. I have also drawn out the waist dart. I drew it with a pencil, and that is because this line is actually not necessary. The only thing that we need is this marks here. I'm going to show you why in some seconds. The next thing that I am going to do is to get my under bust circumference, and that is the measurement round my under bust. And remember, when you're taking your under bust measurement, when you're taking any measurement, all right, you should take it firmly, not tightly, and not loosely. Don't add seam allowances while you're taking your measurements. No, ensure that you take the exact measurement. Okay, so my under bust circumference is 31 divided by 4, that is 7.75. so I am going to measure what I have here. This is about 8.9 inches, and that is more than my under bust circumference, which is 7.75. What I'm going to do now is to measure my actual measurement of 7.75. I'm going to mark it. The remaining inches or centimeters is what you're going to allocate at this point to contour your under bust. Let me show you. What I have left here is 1.25. And like I told you in the previous class, I said that there are two ways of allocating the difference. You can allocate it equally, or you can allocate more to the side front and less to the center front. In the last class, I allocated more to the side front. Today, I am going to show you that you can also allocate it equally between these two. So get the midpoint of 1.25. That is about 0.6. From this line here, this line, I'm going to mark 0.6 to the right and 0.6 to the left. So at the end of the day, if I should measure from here to here, what I'm going to have is 1.25, which is the amount that I have left here, and which is the amount that I want to use to contour my under bust. I hope you're clear. Now I am going to connect this mark. Do you remember this mark? I'm going to connect it to here. I'll use a green pen for clarity. I'm also going to connect this part. The next thing is to connect this mark to our waist dart. By doing this, we have successfully contoured our under bust. The next thing we are going to do is to work on the shoulder. Remember, we are doing a shoulder princess dart. Measure what you have left here from your neck width to the armhole line. This is 4.5. Get the midpoint of 4.5. That is 2.25, okay? Mark 2.25 here. And then connect this mark to my bust point. The next thing is to open this shoulder dart, close my bust dart, and by so doing, I'll be transferring the bust dart to the shoulder. So let's do that. I'm going to cut it to the bust point, that bust point. Then I'm going to cut this one as well, close it, and open this up. Close this one. Can you see what happened at the shoulder? Can you see that the shoulder has opened up? So if you want to open a new dart, you have to close an existing dart. That is what we have done here, alright? We have eliminated this bust dart and we have transferred it here. Ordinarily, we would have been done with our shoulder princess dart. But it would not be a shoulder princess dart bustier if we do not do one more thing, which is eliminating any excesses. And usually excesses are always at the armhole. So now, because we have opened this place up and because we have contoured the underbust, there will be a form of excess at this part. By the time you join your fabric together, you might realize that this part would not lay flat on your body. So we have to take away the excess that is here at this part, and automatically by the time we do that, it will also affect the armhole. That is, we'll be taking away the excess on the armhole as well. So let me show you. If you're on the slim side like me, you can use 1 inch. Okay, if you're on the big side, you can use up to 1.5, 1.75 inches. I'm going to take away 1 inch as the excess that I have. What I'm going to do is to measure my 1 inch to this side of the armhole. Remember, it is this same 1 inch that I took away from my armhole in the previous class. So I'm now going to connect this 1 inch to my bust point. This is going to be my excess. Okay, this is a way of contouring the upper chest. Now, I'm going to cut this out. By cutting this out, the next thing we are going to do is to replace that 1 inch that we have taken. So that 1 inch that I took away, mark it here, extend the shoulder. Okay, and then I am now going to blend it. If you look at this, you can see a pencil mark here. You see that I've already drawn out the armhole line. This will not be new to you if you have watched the previous tutorials, but let me draw it so that you can see it clearly. So I'm going to blend this 1 inch mark into the midpoint of the armhole curve. Not all the way down like this, okay? Because if I do it all the way down like this, the purpose of taking this excess out has been defeated. That means that what I took out to contour the upper chest, I've added it back. So I'm going to blend it into the midpoint. This is my new armhole. By increasing the shoulder width, okay, which of course we have to do in order for it to match with the back, by increasing the shoulder width and by blending this into the mid armhole, what we have done automatically is that we have reduced the measurement of this armhole. If you measure what we have on this blue line and you measure what you have on this green line down here, it would have reduced. Okay, so there will not be any excess on the armhole anymore. There will be no gaping. Okay, by this we are done with the front. Now let us cut it. I want you to follow the way I am cutting it. Also ensure that you blend your edges. If you don't blend it while cutting the pattern, you can blend it on the fabric. So I'm going to cut the neckline. Another thing that I want you to check is this part, this measurement. Remember that for the Armhole Princess, that after cutting it, we realized that by the time we are joining it on fabric, it will not match. And that was why we added some extra paper. So measure what you have from this bust point up to here And also measure what you have from this point up to here. If it does not match, then you have to cut more paper to make it match. So let's measure. This is 8.75. This is 8.75. It is the same thing. So I do not need to add any extra fabric. But to be on the safe side, for me, I always add about 0.25 inch. Okay, just like we did when we were drafting the classic princess dart. Just to be safe, you might end up not using it. So if you don't use it, cut it off. Just add 0.25. Blend it to the new shoulder here, okay? So by the time I join it, I do not have any fear of whether it is going to match or not. I know it will match. The only thing I can have is excess, and if I have an excess, I'm going to cut it off. What I'm going to do next is just to cut out your pattern. I do not have seam allowances on my pattern. I add it on my fabric. Can you see how I'm cutting it? I'm going to cut it towards this green line, not the blue line. Blend this part a little. This is the center front. This is the side front. We have successfully constructed the front pattern of our shoulder princess dart bustier. So let's work on the back. The back does not really have any adjustment. What you're going to do with the back is this. Come to the shoulder line. This is 4.5. Get the midpoint. That's 2.25. Okay. Mark 2.25. Draw it to the chest line this way. You can blend it while drafting, or you blend it on your fabric. Okay. Ensure that there are no sharp edges, and then you cut it out. That is it. But remember that I said that I always had 0.25 inch allowance just in case. So here is what I'm going to do. I'm going to come up by 0.25 inch. This is just to be safe. Just to be safe. 0.25 inch. Draw the line and cut it out. So that is it for the back. I'm going to follow this armhole line. I've already drawn it out. This is my back pattern. This is the center back, and this is the side back. So guys, this is it. This is the front pattern, okay, and this is the back pattern. Trust me, by the time you cut this on your fabric, add your seam allowances, add your joining allowances and all, you're going to get a perfect fit. So in the next class, I think we should do a sewing class so that you can see all the gaping and everything, the armhole tightening and all that I was talking about. So thank you very much guys for watching. I hope you loved the tutorial. 3 more classes to go and we should finish with this series. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. Thank you very much. Take care of yourselves and see you next time. Bye.